I'd like to welcome Shane Rendalls and to come and speak Shane's candidate for Division 5 Redland Bay Executive.
Good evening, everyone. I won't mention a bit of the do this cover very well because I know how precious time is here. I have left some stuff on the desk which gives you a bit more detail about my background and some of the things I'm working with. And what you see is what you get. At the moment, I'm the only independent candidate for Division 5. I'm not part of the Labor Party, the Group, or the Liberal Party. Funding's not coming from where you don't see it. What goes into the campaign is from me, and that puts me at a spending disadvantage of $14 for every $1. That personally, we moved up to Redlands about 5 years ago. That I'm a parent of 4 adult children, grandkids. So I know where young people are coming from when they're trying to rent a house, buy a home, establish their business, balance childcare, and we also know what it's like to look after older people. My professional background is in social work. I've worked across all the different health portfolios, housing, child protection, disability, and worked in senior management positions in New South Wales Government. The last 15 years I've worked in management advisory services nationally, internationally and corporate, doing planning, co-design, business cases, process redesign, efficiencies, evaluations. I thought I'd retire when I came to Redlands, and I did for about 3 weeks. We live on one of the oldest farms on Russell Island. Some of you might remember it as the Golden Circle Pineapple Farm. We've been busy rehabilitating that, putting permaculture gardens, planting habitat forest, partnering with Indigenous groups about wetland restoration and creating bird habitat. I also became president of the Chamber of Commerce, and one of the things I did there is broaden the community. We established a pet emergency transport service to get sick animals off the island in conjunction with the Coast Guard, the tide nets, which brought in $750,000 spending into the island, small hauls with Woodford that's recurrent, change barge and ferry timetables, working with early childhood, aged care, looking at advocating about changing regional status, and we did have a big win about flight paths in conjunction with the Brisbane Flight Path Consortium. Most of the focus I've been doing over the last 4 years has been on the islands, but those skills are very transferable to Redlands. I'm also a graduate of the Australian Institute of Company Directors and have sat on a number of national not-for-profit boards. As was mentioned, I'm currently on the board of the Logan Redland RDA and the Redlands Legacy Working Group, which I've stepped aside from, and 2 weeks ago I stepped aside from council. The Division 5, for those who don't know, is a funny sort of place. You know, last election, 52% of the ballots were from the mainland and 48% were from the islands. So it's probably 50-50. The major issue we've got is that we are a regional area in a major metropolitan city. And what that means is council uses a one-size-fits-all approach, which every time you try to do something on the islands trips you over rather than helping you forward. We have more in common with the scenic rim or Sunshine Coast and our neighbours on the mainland. Working across the mainland, knocking on doors and going to groups, the general consensus across both the islands and the mainland is that residents feel ignored. They feel the council's not visible. They feel the council hasn't been visible. They feel there's no transparency in how decisions are made. They can see the wastage in services that come. You get things you don't want, you don't get things you do want. You don't get decisions that are required. They question the value from the rates they pay, and they have issues about their local amenity, you know, clearing of storm drains, trimming of trees, you know, foreshore walks, and also recreational spaces. particularly some of those more passive stations you sit down on that allows you to talk to each other and get out and about. Local environment's an issue across the islands and the mainland, particularly with the urban growth that's been forecast. But at transport cross regional, it's the issue of crime and safety. Though the mainland is more worried about personal safety and property crime, whereas fortunately on the islands, it's predominantly property crime. Mainly because you can't get away, unless you switch. On the islands, where it differs a little bit is parking. Parking is an issue. It's an issue because we have 100%. We would probably be the only place in Australia that's 100% public transport utilisation. The only way you get from the islands to here is on a ferry. That means you're getting parking congestion at the islands, at ferry wharfs, and you're getting parking congestion here on the mainland. And that spills over to the mainland because what ends up happening is people start parking in front of driveways on people's footpath. And that's an area that really needs addressing. On the mainland, on the island, there's also the issue of roads, that sometime in the past to solve gravel road problems, council used silicon dust, which poses a health hazard to the islanders. And now we have green seal programs. And I've driven around every road marked for green seal on the island. That's where they just put a layer of tar down. And people are saying, why are we doing this one? We don't want that done. We want this one done. There's no transparency. They come in, they do it, and then they take it away. There's early childhood and aged care services with the challenges not just getting people there, but there's no facilities for them to hang up their shingle or delivery service. And there is the fire and of course the bridge. On the mainland, the biggest issues people talk to me is the urban development and also traffic congestion overall. Regionally, it's transport, employment, economic development. What is lacking is a vision. There is not a vision for Division 5. I don't think there's really a division for Redland City either that encompasses the whole of the area. Paradoxically, the RDA gets it. Paradoxically, Scenic Ring gets it. Paradoxically, Northern Rivers get it. And paradoxically, a lot of businesses in Redlands get it. If we don't have that vision, what we are going to have is on the islands, all of those trees will be coming down. Council's attitude at the moment is to encourage people to take trees down. There's problems with sewage, and their attitude, Queensland's the only state where it's council's responsibility. In every other jurisdiction, the people who bring you the water have to take it away. And there needs to be a different way of thinking about that. That in the Ramsar area, and with the Bay Islands and those foreshore areas around that southern area of Redland Bay, there's an opportunity for ecotourism boom, which will support the arts and artisans there. That it also will then place Redlands on the tourist map. I like to think of it, I don't like the name, I like to think of it as a Mullany by the Bay. Regional councils get it. Regional councils get that you play this to the strengths of the different areas and sub-areas. A major metropolitan city doesn't, but just standard cookie cutter approach. From my background, you can see I have made a career achieving things that people said couldn't be done. Whether it's a pet ambulance, whether it's the first hospital in the home program in Australia, whether it's leading the institutionalisation of people from institutional care to community care, I have done that. I've got the skills to do it and I will do it here. What I will do is I will lead from the ground. I will move to a council that stops doing things to people and doing things with people. And what that means is you turn everything on its head. And one of the ways you do that is you do co-design processes on a community basis. We did it with the ambulance. We did it in addressing issues with settling around barges and ferry timetables. We've done it in terms of the Tide Festival. When you scratch the surface, just because a lot of people down this part of the world are a little bit older, when you scratch the surface, they have a wealth of passion and experience.
One of the things I'm looking at the moment is different ways you can deliver septic or install sewage on the islands. I have found 2 former engineers to help me with that. One is not really that enthusiastic. His wife said, he's getting under my feet. Can you take him to help me with the sewage project, and also a couple of town planners. So what we can do there is we can look at options. We can develop a business case and a strategic plan that doesn't involve council. So that when you go to council, you're going with an informed opinion from the community. Because otherwise, the problem we have is somebody sits in Cleveland who's never been to the islands, who's probably never cycled along the foreshores, or when you can, down in that Redland Bay area, who are making decisions to do things to us, not with us. Thank you.